So first of all, Johan, thank you very much for nice introduction you made for my presentation. We know each other for more, I think, almost 20 years, working in ACI in Zagreb Airport. And hereby I want to show security from evaluation point of view, to see where we come from. We already heard about Chicago Convention, Annex 17. Everybody knows about September 11th and consequences of September 11th. My focus will be where we are and where we are going. What will be the future of aviation security, understanding, as Johan said, that we are transporting 4 billion passengers by airline statistics, or 8 billion passengers by airport statistics, because we count one passenger at departure and same passenger on arrival, like one passenger. So we started our industry with Charles Lindbergh, first flight over the Atlantic Ocean in 1927. So less than 100 years, we are transporting all population in the world in 1 year. It's amazing. But still, we have so many challenges. Let's try to understand again where we are coming from and where we are going. This is what everybody understands and everybody knows. This is the airport logic that airport people, security people, but passengers definitely do not understand. So 400 milliliters of the bottle is extremely dangerous, like a weapon of mass destruction. If you separate in 4 different bottles, it will be absolutely safe. Is it true? I don't know, but this is regulation. This is how our security guys and ladies have to appear and have to defend this policy on behalf of the regulator toward passengers who do not understand. Honestly, neither I. But still, we have to act according to different regulations. How we come to regulate aviation security already mentioned. Unfortunately, because of some different threats and happenings that happen and some tragic events that happened, because we used to say that all aviation regulation is written by ink, only Annex 17 is written by blood of these people who were victims of terrorism. And these are some of the events from 1931, when there was a first hijacking in Peru, and the latest one in 1968, when delegation of Cuba was requesting ICAO do something because this hijacking between Cuba and United States is going under any control. So we have to control somehow, and this was the first time when ICAO established in 1974 the first edition of Annex 17. They called it Safeguarding of International Civil Aviation Against Act of Unlawful Interference. So they didn't mention terrorism, they said unlawful interference. Still now we are using this abbreviation, unlawful interference. Unfortunately, the chain of security is as strong as the weakest part. So what is the purpose to have such a big elements with this plastic tape that connect all this? And very often we are focused only on one area without understanding that we have some very open area that terrorists and bad guys can find and can just open the gate and make damage to the industry and to us. In principle, we are talking about simple things. So aviation security is going to protect in-flight threat, airport threat, and air navigation threat. In-flight threat by aircraft commanding, so taking command over the captain, over the crew. Aircraft demolition in flight by putting bomb. Airport endangering people and equipment, or endangering willingness to fly. If you have a bomb threat, it's endangering willingness to fly without concrete attack to the airport. And endangering aircraft on ground, absolutely, access to the airside area is also a threat. How we are doing this? We are providing aircraft operated by pilot under hijacking control, aircraft operated by hijackers, aircraft demolition by human activity on board is in flight, or aircraft demolition by device taken on board. So these are the elements that we have to protect, and aircraft demolition in flight by damaging aircraft construction or system, usually from the ground. And these measures, how to protect from these, are mentioned in this section of Annex 17. Prevent passengers to possess articles useful to endanger human health or life from introduction into the cabin, disable dangerous person or neutralize dangerous articles, one, if they are already taken on board the aircraft, protect the aircraft from the introduction of prohibited articles and dangerous goods on board the aircraft, and protect the aircraft integrity on ground once when it is not in service or during handling. Actions, I'm going to skip it very fast, so you know that some actions has to be prepared by the state. We already heard from Vladimir before about cooperation with the police and special police teams, SWAT teams, and action also of the crew during the flight. So that's why Annex 17 set up the standards. Standards are covering in the three areas. One is common basic standards comprise, member state action, and operators. In the staff recruitment and training is the first requirement, airport security, access control, and surveillance is the second requirement, aircraft security checks and searches is the third requirement, and now we come to the crucial one, screening of passenger cabin baggage and hold baggage. We have additionally screening of airport supplies and screening of cargo and mail, but why did I put this into the red? Because this is the only process that we communicate with passenger. So if we want to be customer-oriented company, we have to understand that this is the point where passengers see security. They don't see access control. They don't see surveillance. They don't see cameras, as we already, Petar was talking about this on the first panel. But they see passenger screening, and this is crucial part, and this is why Johan before mentioned about how Securitas is trying to make the system better, and I'm going to speak a little bit more also about this element of aviation security. After the Annex 17 was introduced, definitely we can see that we have decreasement from 1970 up to 2011, decreasement of terrorist events. So we fulfill the task. We are much more efficient in protection of the aircraft and passenger than we were before Annex 17. But on the other side, after September 11th, a lot of things change. Many recommended practices from Annex 17 move to standards, so it becomes must from it is recommended. Apart from that, Annex 9 on Chicago Convention is talking about facilitation. It's on the same level like security. But facilitation is opposite than security. On one side, you are making systems stronger, and it's not anymore accessible for passenger. So that's why facilitation is asking, how are we going to prepare the system that we are going in Article 2.3, that each contracting state should, whenever possible, arrange the security controls and procedures to cause a minimum interference with or delay to the activities of civil aviation. So Annex 9 requires, as every member state, to prepare strategy, organization, cooperation between different entities, how to make it possible without endangering, without making too complicated and too slow. Unfortunately, not many states are taking care about Annex 9. But that is why ICAO requests and suggests that not only security people should sit in one room, they should be merged with facilitation people. And they called it SecFal people, security facilitation. Because if we are making too strong measures, you are going to endanger willingness to fly. If it is too soft, too much into the facilitation, it will not be secured. So this compromise as a balanced approach should be in the same decision-making level, not only one. And that's why security and facilitation are equally important. Because we would like to have such services like we have in 40s, 60s, you know, the nice service, good cook food on the aircraft, and this was our wish. Unfortunately, major impact happened after September 11. 18 new standards were established in this annex, and new regulation coming in force in many states, but especially after the new edition of Annex 17 was formalized in very quick process after September 11th, or in July 2nd, 2002, so less than 1 year, they succeeded to establish new regulation, which was extremely slow in the past. You have to develop new edition of Annex 17. It takes you 5 years. Now it was less than 1 year. Everybody was afraid about consequences after September 11. European Union, like always, They are over-regulated, everybody knows. So I just make a list of different regulations that are here, not all of them, but honestly, this is confusing. Somebody should make these regulations simple, like it is done on ICAO level. It looked like every bureaucrat in EU has something to say about security, and every bureaucrat or administration person would like to add some new regulation in aviation security. So it's some kind of mess in the EU. Honestly, I think that even with the name, because Annex 17 is one name, but here you have name of the document 2320, which was the basic document, then 622, then 300, 272, 1254, and other. So you cannot combine and understand that this is concerning your business, aviation security. But okay, this is European Union. This is what we produced after that. So what was the difference comparing with this excellent food service on board? Did we overload? With the regulation and with the procedures. Johan explained about how he is helping the airport in accordance to the facilitation document. Do it, but do it properly, do it fast, because this is not the way. We are talking about simple process. So here is the process of preparation for screening, hand baggage and suspicious article separation. This is once when you take everything from your pockets and your colleague forget about coins, and he is taken back to take coins, and he asks you, did you take your belt? No, I didn't. So what about glasses? Take off your shoes and so on. And now we come to the step 3, 3A and 3B, which is screening. Now we have two channels, articles X-raying and passenger screening. After articles X-raying, in some cases it can be articles hand search, if there is a suspicious article, and possibly article vapor tracing with a sniffing device. And when you finished everything, you put again together passenger with his hand baggage. Second process is about passenger screening. It can be also passenger hand searching, and it can be additionally passenger vapor tracing, depending on the threat and evaluation what the screeners find. So we are talking about very simple process, but we will see that the duration of all these processes are not the same. How long it takes? Divestment. On average, it takes 16 seconds. It can go up to 30 seconds sometimes. But on average, we are talking about 16 seconds of divestment. Separation, you and luggage and your computer and your liquids and so on. X-raying, on average, is only 5 seconds per tray, per one piece of tray. Walk-through metal detection, even faster, 4 seconds. And reconciliation, putting everything together, it's 11 seconds. So if we go to make it possible on fast possible way, we are going to be concentrated on X-ray machine, how long it takes to X-ray one tray or one luggage. And then we can prepare many passengers for smooth process. And this is exactly what Johan was speaking in his presentation. So we have to understand that not each process takes the same time. It's completely different once when you come into the divestment and reconciliation process. And talking about stress curve, this green line is talking about anticipation excitement of the passenger. And the red arrows are talking about passenger stress. And you see that at arrival, before coming to the airport, stress curve is low, then it goes up at check-in. Once the passenger is checked, then the stress curve is going a little bit down before security control. At the security check, the stress is higher. And this was measured on the thousands of different elements of stress of the passenger, doesn't matter which airport. After that, once when you pass security, the stress curve of the passenger is going dramatically down on the airport before boarding, and once when you are board, during the flight, before you come to the passport control, the stress curve is going up again, because you don't know if you will arrange taxi, if your loving one is going to wait you, what will be the weather on destination. And this is exactly to understand, for us working on the airport, that you cannot sell passenger anything when he is in stress. You can sell him your services or duty-free or food and beverage when he relaxes. And this is that area, after screening point. And this is the answer. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this, about location of the screening point, which is crucial for making business on the airport, because 50% of our revenue on the airport, sometimes even more, is coming from non-aviation revenue. and 50% is coming from regulated charges from aviation revenue. So if we don't make money in our departure area, we will not make money for our investment on the airports. And we, people working in security, we have to provide services in the best possible way, not to obstruct and to endanger willingness to buy, eat, and spend money of the walking wallets or the passenger. We can name them also like walking wallets. So that's why I talked about location of the screening point. Here we have a boarding gates, like we have in some airport, which is a little bit, from my point of view, old-fashioned, because of the fact that you need to organize screening point with all support for only one flight. It's too demanding, not very flexible, and especially if we come to the stress score, we will see that this is not the best location. Pre-boarding location is sometimes also done that you screen the passenger, they go to the boarding gate, and they are waiting as already screened passenger. Still, you have to provide all the stuff like a male screener, female screener, alternative 20 minutes changing person and other things. So it's a complex thing, and many airports are moving from this gate screening into the centralized concourse screening when you can organize all your stuff and allocate the best possible resources for the flights, which is more flexible than if you go to the far away screening like a gate or concourse. If you locate screening into the centralized point, you will see that airside dwell time will be much longer than if you have screening security at the gate. That means, again, we are helping our airport guys to produce money in this airside dwell, because centralized screening gives you more time for shopping and eating. If it is gate screening, you will have less time for shopping and eating. That means that we provide our security services, but we didn't help our airport colleagues to make money in duty-free and food and beverage. So is the airport a security business or services? This is something that we even heard some discussion on the first panel. I think that it's a developing thing. Why I think that it is developing thing? Because a new edition of Standard Ground Handling Agreement from 2013. Standard Ground Handling Agreement is the template of the contract between ground handling company and the airline that is signed on every airport when you list all the services. The new edition from 2013 require airport to sign also Section 7. Section 7 is talking about security services. That means that IATA and IATA members understand that security screening is part of the ground handling. This was never before, but now it becomes the responsibility of the airport. You can provide or you can arrange, whatever, but you are responsible to do it according to the airline requests. So it moves back into the ground handling. And once when you come to ground handling, there is a price for that. And this is the list of the charges that some airports are charging security services. And it's no surprise that it goes from $6 or even $7 per departing passenger down to less than $1 per departing passenger. So we are talking about same service which has such a huge difference in cost of the services. I will not say that this is only economy of scale. I will not say that this is economic. Very often it becomes business. And once when it is business, you can charge as much as you can charge. So it does not reflect directly the cost of security operation. Very often this is business. And that's why understanding that security becomes part of ground handling, security screening becomes part of ground handling, and understanding that we can charge, definitely security becomes business. And that's why we have private companies that are doing this business, providing these services, and also supporting our industry on best possible way. I will just skip, but just to understand what Johan was talking about, the maximum throughput through the security screening point, you have to understand that we need time to screen tray, not a luggage, because every passenger is going to fill more than one tray. You put your luggage in one tray, you put your jacket in second tray, you put your computer in third tray, and this is already 3 devices going for screening. So we are not talking about one passenger, one baggage. Sometimes more than 3 trays have to be screened. Theoretically, if we are using the speed of the conveyor belt of the screening machine, we can say that we can screen up to 400 trays or bags per hour on conventional X-ray machine. If somebody wants to check, you can find this in aerodrome design reference material, how to calculate how many channels you need according to peak hours, but I'm not going to explain this formula. Sometimes I use it for calculation of the peak hour, but if necessary, aerodrome design manual reference material is talking about calculating of the best possible screening channel according to peak hour and transit, passenger, and some other elements that are mentioned here. So we have two possibilities. We have conventional line for passenger screening, which is one X-ray, standard one, and one walk-through metal detector. But obviously, this is not enough. We are talking about new technology and better performance of security. So that's why more and more we are introducing new technology like standard 2 or standard 3 X-ray machines or body scanners that we are going to see also in this presentation and also exhibition room. One of the example of conventional good line with the return of the tray and the walk-through metal detector is shown on this picture, but already we heard about Securitas. This is one of the automatic system that allow passenger, more than one passenger to divest to feel the standard 2 X-ray machine so it can go much faster. And I'm going to explain a little bit the difference between standard 1, 2, and 3 machines. So this is difference between ECAC and Homeland Security standard, but we are talking about non-EDS machine. The machine cannot detect and mark prohibited article or dangerous device in the luggage. The standard 2 machine can detect and mark, and standard 3 machine is already with the possibility to keep liquids and electronics inside the baggage. So once when we employ these standard 3 machines in passenger screening, we don't need divestment time anymore. So we are going to squeeze, and we show before the graph in which it is obvious that the most required time is divesting time. If you don't need to take your electronics and liquids from your baggage, with the standard 4 and standard 3, it will be much faster system. Still, we will have problem with the walk-through metal detector, because obviously walk-through metal detector can detect only metal and cannot detect plastic, ceramic, even explosives, because they are not metal. So we have different techniques how to randomly check and hand search people who are passing without metal, but still it's a weakness of the system. September 11th did not happen because of the fail of the hand baggage screening. It was because of the fail of screening of the passenger. And we didn't improve that area at all, except if we implement body scanners and some other techniques. So whatever I talked until now, I was talking about the threat that already happened. But we know that there are some other threats that are existing. I'm not talking about something that is going to be invented. I'm talking about something that is here. People are using, thanks God, not in aviation. So what are the perceived risks and threats for civil aviation in the future? Person-borne improvised explosive device, body caving, MULA. We know that people are smuggling drugs into body holes. They are swallowing or putting the drugs into body holes. Why not to put also explosives? What kind of technology do we have to protect from that? Walk-through metal detector, body scanner. So if something happens, we are going to search passenger. Searching passenger in this is very aggressive. Additional threat is cargo improvised explosive device in cargo. Until now, it's almost randomly screening, but not so precisely screening like in passenger transportation. Cargo shipments and cargo aircrafts are not thoroughly searched and checked. Vehicle-borne improvised explosive device, drones. What kind of protection we have against drones? Drones are available everywhere on the market for 100 euros. So you can locate and you can transport with the drones explosives in the security restricted area with a millimeter precision during the night without visibility. Man-pad, these are the man-launched rockets, anti-aircraft rockets. Aircraft used as a weapon of mass destruction, general aviation, but also the passenger aircraft. And cybersecurity, we already talked in the previous channel about cybersecurity. Unfortunately, in Croatia, we have two events. One was in Split Airport when the virus attacked the system and the system was out of function in the middle of summer season for almost 1 day. It was a disaster for the airport. And second was definitely the worm that was sent by a person who asked money in the Zadar airport also. So ICAO is preparing new annex. Probably this will be the Annex 20, because now we have 19 annexes, that will specially regulate cybersecurity, because we understand that we didn't do anything to prepare for cybersecurity, backing up the system and such other system. In some government, I just visited Israel, Ben Gurion security. They employed almost 100 people in cybersecurity only protection. They have all the team and system to protect from the cyber attack. Obviously, they are in dangerous area, so they know how to do it. For these threats, we are not ready. What will happen is if something happens with such a threats? We are going to introduce additional security or additional measures, which will endanger facilitation. And what will be the consequences of aviation? Are we going to search passenger halls to find if they have explosives? Impossible, sorry, impossible. But obviously, this is what they are doing in prison. Man-pad, you can buy it for 200 euros. It's on the black market. So every terrorist can buy it. He doesn't need to be on the airport. He can be 2 kilometers outside the airport and still to shoot, because here we see DHL aircraft, Boeing 737, in Baghdad that was hit by such a rocket. You know, somehow they survived. They succeeded to land the aircraft, but it was a miracle. I don't think, as one pilot said, in case that the rocket is already launched, you can just pray. Nothing else, just pray. So already mentioned drones. We already witnessed attack with a drone in South America. Lasers, especially green lasers, they are dangerous, up to 3,700 feet height. And you see the reflection on the windshield, on the pilot windshield, on the height of 350 meters. Second slide is 2,000 feet, and third slide is 3,700 feet. So it's dangerous. Every kid can have such a laser. There is no control over such a laser. So even if we go outside the airport, we have threats that we are not ready to defend. So what is the objective? Well, definitely we have to do it something on a different way. And IATA and ACI decided to go to so-called screening point of the future. Screening point of the future is talking about different actions that we have to do, but the basic thing is assumed by this fact. First, majority of airline passengers are low risk. Majority of passengers do not harm aviation. They are regular passengers. We have to recognize the bad guys only. The more information available to the security personnel from the passenger, they can make easy selection of the bad guys. Not to introduce the same security to everybody, but to allocate according to the threat of every passenger. But we need to collect these information. Behavior detection. In many cases, you have different technologies, or even dogs, K9, that can detect behavior of the bad person. So we have to understand which person is the one that behaves not as a regular passenger, to put additional security measures only on that passenger, but not on everybody. Optimize screening procedures and use of technology to gain system-wide efficiency and increase security by focusing on unknown, expedite known trusted travelers. So again, we are talking about profiling the passenger. European regulation does not talk about profiling. European regulation does not recognize risk-based different approach. European regulation is talking about same system and same standard for not only for passengers but also for employees on the airport, which, by my understanding, it is not going to work. I will skip this and show you just. So the blueprint for 2020 was requiring that we are going to have channels that we are going to put our luggage into the screening machine and just walk through the channels, and we are going to be screened. One of our sponsors for this conference is going to present also their technology, which is on good way to be, but definitely I don't expect that in 2020 we are going to have such security screening. We are late at least 5 years. And I don't see incentives, but definitely again, whatever we did until now, we prepare for existing threat, not for the threat that does not appear in aviation. And they are going to come, for sure, it's only a question when. One of these elements is also monitoring by dog. So the dog can detect behavior of the person, but also cameras that can detect body temperature, swallowing, and some other elements that technology can recognize by face or by temperature every passenger approaching. So this is one of the elements. TSA is also using the same technology, and they are asking airline to collect all passenger information in advance. So passenger provide data to TSA, Transportation Security Agency, United States. Secure flight through airline system. So you provide information about your credit card, about your position, about your previous flights, about everything, and all these information are filtered into the IT technology. Secure flight conduct which list, matching, and analyze passenger risk, and then your risk is put into your boarding pass. So you are going to be evaluated, for, let's say, from 0 to 9. 0, absolutely safe passenger according to the history, and 9, very dangerous possible passenger, screen him completely. You will not see that, but it will already be in your boarding pass. Then you are approaching to the gate, you will have behavior detection, identity document verification, and TSO, direct passenger to screening line communication. And according to that, all the system is going to be prepared for different level of screening. Sorry, just before the last slide, I forget to put one slide. Ben Gurion, or Israel security system, is implementing this already now. You have interview with the security officer, and they collect data from your previous, from your purchasing the ticket and other information. And once when you speak with the security officer, he is asking you a question, monitoring about your behavior. And once when he gives you the passport to go for boarding and go for security, you are evaluated by risk. If you are evaluated very low, you will have very quick pass. If you are evaluated like a high threat, you are going to be thoroughly searched. It's not only passenger screening. Israeli system have a 2-level screening of the whole baggage. One machine and second machine. Every of these machines have 7 algorithms how to adapt according to the screening and the speed of screening. So there is 14 possibilities, 14 different possibilities that every passenger will program the whole baggage machine, screening machine, according to the threat that was done on the interview. So the system is constantly adapting according to every passenger approaching or every passenger luggage approaching. So I just tried to show you about experience, where we come from, what are we trying to do, and probably in which area we are going to develop. Don't forget that you, people working in security, should not think only about security, because if it is too tough, if we don't provide efficient security without interference in the normal operation, we are going to endanger our colleagues on the airport, and then we are going to stop our huge impact of transportation of all population in the world in 1 year only. Thank you very much.